Hi, and welcome back to the channel. By now, you've probably heard of Claude Mythos, and you might even have heard of Project Glasswing, but I bet you haven't heard of Microsoft MDASH, and that's the one I actually want to get into today. So, what are we going to cover? Well, we'll touch on all of them. And then we'll go a bit deeper into MDASH and what it is, what these tools really bring to the table, and the part I care about the most, what they mean for vulnerability management and patch management. Let me set the scene. This June, Microsoft shipped fixes with 206 security flaws in a single patch Tuesday. That's a record. The previous high was, I think, about 170 back in October. Important to note, the software hasn't got worse. It's just that the AI tools people are using to find these vulnerabilities has gotten a lot better. I'm not going to drown you in technical detail. I can't demo MDASH anyway. It's still in private preview. So this is all about the big picture and the so-called so what. I cover a lot of security on here, so hit the subscribe button and stick around. Right, let's get into it. Back in April, Anthropic announced something called Project Glasswing. Anthropic had built an unusually capable AI model codenamed Claude Mythos, and instead of releasing it to everyone, they handed early access to a tight group of major companies. Amazon, Apple, Google, as you can see on the screen, Cisco, quite a few big names out there. Names whose software and hardware sit underneath most of what you use today. Why these companies? Because Mythos is extremely good at one thing: reading code and spotting security holes. On its own, with no human guidance, it found thousands of previously unknown vulnerabilities in software people had trusted for years. A flaw in OpenBSD had been there for 27 years. Another flaw that had survived 5 million automated tests. Here's the part that matters. Those companies did not just admire the model. They pointed it at their own products. They used Mythos to go through their own code and find the weak spots and fix them before anyone else found them. Microsoft said exactly that. They used it to identify and mitigate risk early across their software and their customers. And that quietly flows downhill to you. So when Apple or Cisco or Palo Alto harden its own code using a tool like this, then the results show up in updates that land on your phone, your laptop, your servers. You do not see Mythos, you see a security update. The model is a thing that finds a problem. The patch is a thing that you actually get. Microsoft took that idea and built its own system around it, and that's called MDASH. The name stands for Multi-Model Agentic Scanning Harness. We'll just call it MDASH. And here's what it actually does. You point it at a code base, a repository of source code such as GitHub, and it goes looking for vulnerabilities the way a very good, very fast security researcher would. Two things make it worth knowing about. First, it doesn't rely on a single AI system. It uses a panel of models and a crowd of AI agents that cross-check each other so that when it flags something, it effectively had a second and third opinion. Second, it doesn't just shout, "This might be a bug," and leave you a giant to-do list. It tries to prove the bug is real and actually exploitable before it bothers a human with it. That's the difference between a noisy scanner and something a security team will trust. Right now, MDASH is in private preview, and Microsoft has wired it into its own tools, Defender and GitHub. So a vulnerability found in code can flow straight into the place where teams prioritize and fix it. So this isn't a finished product. You can't go and buy it today. It is something Microsoft is using internally and testing with a select group of customers. Does it work? The headline numbers In 1 month, MDASH found 16 genuinely new vulnerabilities in the Microsoft networking stack. 4 of them serious enough to let an attacker run code on your machine remotely. And on the industry public benchmark for this, it's sitting at the top of the leaderboard. So, yes, this is real. It's not a science project. Now, back to that record patch Tuesday, because this is where it gets real for everyone watching. 206 fixes in June, 39 of them critical, 3 of them already been exploited before the patch landed. And it's not a one off. The experts tracking are blunt about it. One analyst pointed that Microsoft has already shipped more security fixes this year than in the whole of 2018. The cause is exactly what we've been talking about. When finding vulnerabilities was slow, expensive, human work, only a certain amount got found each month and therefore patched. Now AI is doing it at speeds and scale that we've never seen before. Microsoft MDASH, OpenAI models, Google has their own models, etc. More finding means more fixing. Microsoft's own engineering leaders are saying plainly that 100 plus patch months are the new norm, not just a blip. And here's the uncomfortable flip side. The exact same AI that helps the good guys find these bugs helps the bad guys find them too. The gap between vulnerabilities becoming known and someone actually attacking it used to be measured in weeks or months. It's now collapsing towards days, sometimes less. So you've got more patches coming at you, faster and less time to apply each one before it gets exploited. So what can you do with all this information? For years, patching has been treated as boring housekeeping. Important, sure, but the thing you do when all the interesting work is finished. Those days are over. When bugs are found this fast and attacked this fast, how quickly you can patch is your security. Not your firewall, not your fancy tools. How fast you can safely get a fix out. And that means 2 shifts for most organizations. First, patch more often and try and automate as much of it as you can. The old way of patching once a month, testing for a couple of weeks, then deploying, assumes a comfort window that is just disappearing. The direction of travel is faster, more frequent, more automated patching, where testing and rollout are built to move quickly without breaking things. Second, and this is the one that should worry most people, all of this assumes you can patch the thing in the first place. A lot of what runs on businesses these days cannot be patched quickly. Operating systems that have gone end of life and stopped getting fixes, old machinery and equipment with no update mechanisms, and we've all heard of that ancient line of business application that will fail over as soon as you try and touch it. In the old world, that old system was a manageable risk. It was a bit scary, but the odds of someone finding exactly the right flaw before you noticed were low. In a world where finding flaws is cheap and fast, an unpatched system is just an open door with a countdown on it. So, getting off legacy platforms, the ones that cannot be patched at all, stop being a tidy up project you will get to one day and become the real security priority. The good news, to be fair, is that the same AI cuts both ways. It can help write the fixes and help you modernize that crusty old app faster than before. So a quick recap. A very capable AI model, Claude Mythos, went to a group of major tech companies who use it to find and fix security holes in their own products. And that flows down to you as better updates. Microsoft built its own system, MDASH, that scans codes for vulnerabilities and proves which ones are real. It is in private preview and wired into Defender and GitHub. And the visible results are already here. A record 206 fixes in a single patch Tuesday, with more to come. The takeaway I want you to take is this. AI has made finding bugs cheap and fast for defenders and attackers both. That makes how quick you can patch your single most important security capability. And it makes anything you cannot patch a growing liability. Patch faster, patch more often, automate it where you safely can, and start moving off the platforms you cannot patch at all. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found that useful, and I'll see you in the next video.